Paul, I mean, we've been talking about the censorship, and people need to take this very serious because it's accelerating at warp speed right now. I'm seeing more censorship condensed the last month than we've seen the previous 5-6 years. Do you concur with that? And let's talk about what's happening. Tell folks what's happening. We can scroll through your articles and show the screenshots of what they're removing, what they're taking down. Senator Rand Paul taken down. CIA section chief saying they did target Trump, taken down. It's the really credible stuff that proves they're liars that they're taking down. Just like Google got caught taking away the negative comments about Hillary and her crimes and congressional reports and Judicial Watch. This is open, naked, 1984 memory hole, Ministry of Truth. Paul Watson from London.
Well, of course, you remember, Alex, that there was a huge scandal, I think it was last year, where Facebook got caught gaming the algorithm for their trending list to keep out conservative opinions and topics. That was a huge scandal. This is going to be a similar scandal if they don't sort it out. The update is, since we complained about this over the past week or two, all of those posts, and up until yesterday, it was virtually every single thing I posted. It started to the point where any link whatsoever, not even InfoWars links, was censored as spam. The update is that they've unblocked all the links, and now they're all visible again since we complained about this. It could have been a mass flagging attempt where organized brigades of leftists on the internet get together and plan to flag these posts.
But let's be clear, we already wrote articles about that 5 years ago. Google and others admitted this is Facebook separate. In meetings, they're going to create super mods who are able to go out and do it, who are just visitors to YouTube. And then the elite can act like they're not the ones doing it. It's the community. So let's be clear. This community is being created by Facebook, but because it's blowing up in their face and we're complaining, they're having to back off for now. Go ahead.
It's empowering mobs to go on witch hunts. I mean, YouTube tried to introduce it a few months back with their Heroes program. And, you know, if you flagged a certain number of videos, you got up to the higher tiers, the higher point levels, because you were a good, obedient citizen crushing free speech. But I guess we shouldn't complain too much, Alex, because, you know, over in Germany, it's even worse. They hired ex-Stasi officials to work with the government.
And it's now a 500 euro fine. They want a 53 million euro fine. Go ahead.
And this morning I heard about a story which is even worse. Somebody in Germany posted a story critical. They were criticizing the Islamic practice, which occurs in some countries, of raping young boys, because that's cultural enrichment. Afghanistan, for example, there was a big scandal. US military tried to blow the whistle on it. They were told to shut up, because they do like to rape young boys in some of these countries. So this German guy posted criticism of that on Facebook. Now he's being charged with disseminating child porn for criticizing the practice of young boys being raped. That's how bad it is in Germany. You had a woman who posted a picture of a migrant in Germany who had raped and killed a 19-year-old woman. Her Facebook account was shut down because she circulated an image of the murderer, which had already been widely circulated in German media.
That's right. Let's be clear. MSM is allowed to circulate photos and things. It's the general public or independent news groups, even if we're older and bigger than them in some cases, we're not allowed. Like, we can't show video of an Apache blowing up a tank, even when it's on 100 other channels. YouTube would then ban us and say it was violent and we broke the rules, until I started to file a lawsuit and they backed off. This is the example of where they have rules for themselves and then different rules for us. Will they be successful, Paul, in killing our free speech, and what should we do to stop it?
Well, we need to point out that this argument, oh, it's a private company, they can do what they want, complete BS. It's funny, isn't it, how leftists only support that argument when it's targeting and censoring conservatives. If a private company doesn't want to bake a cake for a gay wedding, then they want the government to crack down on them. But this is perfectly fine. The other aspect is, of course, Le Pen in France is now, they've removed the immunity for her to be charged.
She's now facing felony charges.
Yeah, for basically sharing a picture of an ISIS execution, which again was widely circulated in the media.
You're allowed to show it on the news, but the major member of the French government and EU Parliament, she's not allowed to, and she's now the leader of the presidential race. She's still not allowed to because the anointed ones in the mainstream media and the government said no.
Exactly, even though it had been widely circulated in the media for months and months before. And of course, today you've got this Gizmodo article basically arguing that we shouldn't be censored for spam. We should be censored for fake news. This is a company owned by Univision. This is a corporate media outlet. Why do they want us to be censored, Alex? Well, because we're kicking their butt, because we're the competition.
And we expose, George Ramos and the rest of it. It's insane. And notice what they use as examples of BS news, that we're saying appliances are surveilling you. That was admitted by the CIA director 3 years ago.
Yeah, but, their writer, Eve Pacer, can get up on Twitter and say that things to do, coolest crimes ranked, number 3, assassinating the president. That's Eve Pacer, writes for Gizmodo, owned by Univision. They can get up on social media and threaten the president, but if we report on actual programs of surveillance, but the CIA is doing that we've reported on for 11 plus years, that's bad.
That's right. Let's be clear.
Fake.
We're the people that originally broke it first, you and I and our NSA sources, exactly as we said, the schematics, the hubs, secret documents, no Pulitzer Prize. No. We're banned specifically for exposing admitted programs in Vault 7, and Gizmodo celebrates it.
Exactly. And I think what's happening, Alex, is the left on social media has had it their own way for so long, since the birth of Twitter, since the birth of Facebook. You look at Twitter now and there's a real war going on. These leftists don't seem to realize, or some of them are actually beginning to realize, that, virtue signaling to your echo chamber on Twitter and being all smug and laughing at those silly right-wingers on Twitter, that's no longer going to win the culture war. We're kicking their butt on YouTube. PewDiePie, they attacked him. They attacked his free speech. He got completely red-pilled. He actually liked a bunch of my videos, so he knows what's going on. 54 million subscribers. They cannot compete with somebody who has 54 million subscribers, who gets millions, 5, 10, 50 million views per video, completely crushing mainstream media every
And by the way, he's not even right-wing. He's just open and free, and they don't control him. And just, if anybody knew about how Hollywood is, the evil, the corruption, the not wanting to pay anybody anything, wanting to keep people poor, wanting to shut down any competition. Imagine the old Sumner Redstones, how pissed they are that Matt Drudge has more news views than Facebook and the New York Times and the Washington Post combined. Number 2 on the internet, period. And then imagine how pissed they are that we reach conservatively 45 million people a week. Imagine how angry they are that PewDiePie reaches 15 billion people on one channel alone. Derivatives, I looked it up, another 17 billion. They just can't deal with us, but nothing will ever stop it. It's like whack-a-mole. They could kill me, kill you, kill whatever, literally kill us. And people don't want old corporate force-fed manure anymore. It's over. They've got a bunch of old people and low-income sad folks. I'm sad for them. The demographics are clear. Mainstream news is where the losers go, Paul.
Yeah, and I mean, PewDiePie made a whole video about how trust in mainstream media, especially amongst young people, is completely cratering. You can look at the graph.
6% approval rating.
Yeah, you better believe that they're absolutely terrified. Doesn't matter if he's left wing, right wing, whatever. The fact that he's independent, that he's not controlled, since they silenced all his sponsors and killed his TV show over making Nazi jokes. I guess we better ban Charlie Chaplin and John Cleese as well. The sheer terror at somebody being independent, being able to think for themselves, and having such a massive audience strikes fear into the heart.
That's right. They couldn't, they can't stand. They can't stand. There have been articles about Sumner Redstone. I know folks that know him and have known him for decades, where there'd be all these child stars, where he was obsessed about having all the child stars under his control so he could put political messages into them to control the youth. And when somebody else would sign a child star, he would just reportedly wreck things and break things and scream and overturn things and go insane. That's over wanting to control kids' music. Can you imagine the Sumner Redstones and people? And Viacom that's financing this Homeland show about me with all these lies. Can you imagine how pissed they are that, oh, yeah, PewDiePie's got 30 million young people a day watching. We have tens of millions of the military and intelligence agencies and the hardcore governments. That's why InfoWars is so key, because I have the people that actually run everything listening, but not the evil on the top. The people that actually run the show are now becoming decompartmentalized with InfoWars. We're going to come back in a final couple segments with Paul Watson. And then, speaking of the folks that have actually been on the front lines and on the inside of basically everything, We got one of the top Navy SEALs in history joining us in studio to talk about major human operations we're launching against the globalists. Again, we don't want to sit here and talk about ourselves as if we're the news. So many other talk show hosts try to do that to make themselves the news. InfoWars is the news. Infowars.com, DrudgeReport.com, to a lesser extent Breitbart.com, are the tip of the spear, and they want to take us down. And if they can take us down, they can take you down. Paul, I'm ranting here, cutting in on you. I appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy, but Drudge is more and more right when he came here over a year ago, and he said, listen, we got to stop using these electronic gulags, these electronic ghettos, as he called them, because that's how they control you. And first, go to Nazi Germany. First, people the Nazis were targeting was Jews, many other groups couldn't have their businesses in the nice area. Then they shut down the businesses in the poor area. Then they put them into ghettos. Then they round them up. They start cutting off speech. They start cutting us off Google, letting us advertise. Just milquetoast stuff we're selling. They're trying to shut us down right now. They admit it. And so much of this started after the New York Times came out a month ago and admitted that we are bigger than the New York Times. And that's just a fact. But Drudge is way bigger than us. So that's the thing. We're bigger. We're the new media. And then they're the establishment media with the elite shutting us off. That's sensationally corrupt. And we shouldn't just accept it. I shouldn't accept it. The listeners shouldn't accept it. Paul, let me ask you this in this segment, the next, and I appreciate your time that our guest is coming in. I get that you dominate Twitter. More impressions than the BBC has total. That was in the news. You're the king of that now. They're just going to kick you off of it soon. And so we need to get everybody from those platforms to InfoWars. And I need you, as I've been telling you for months, you're a smart guy. Remember, I begged you to get on air, begged you to use Twitter, begged you to do everything because you're smarter than I am. We need you to tell everybody on these platforms, hey, I'm being kicked off. Start your own email chain letter, where you can get people that want to hear from you daily, because it's getting to the point where we have to interface directly with them, like Drudge does with DrudgeReport.com, like we do with InfoWars. But we have to just do it, Paul. We have to get folks in the exodus now to really just start coming to us, because they're going to kick us off. Paul?
No, precisely. And now, even though this fake news narrative failed in the eyes of the American people, if you look at the polls, even BuzzFeed is now admitting that there's an audience on the left that seems willing to believe virtually any claim that could damage Trump. And there are fake documents circulating about another made-up scandal. But Harvard University, nobody seems to have picked up on this much, about 5 days ago came out with a huge list of fake and misleading news websites, which is what they're going to use to censor us on social media. Every single major conservative website is on that list. So they're making blacklists. They're trying to put that into place so Facebook can use that as a reference.
Yeah, they use that as their cover. Oh, Harvard, where Zuckerberg comes from, and everybody, it says ban InfoWars. It says ban Drudge.
Yeah, but they're working with the non-partial independent organization, Snopes, which isn't a completely biased far-left outfit who actually made up quotes out of thin air when they tried to refute one of my videos about 6 months ago. Openly biased far-left organization. Every single one they're working with for this fake news thought policing is biased, is far-left. It's a blatant attempt to censor conservative libertarian.
I agree, Paul. Let me raise this to you.
That violates their narrative.
Let me raise this. Where does it go? They're failing. The public's rejecting them, but they're the establishment. They're moving forward. They're the elite shutting us down. So where does this go?
They're going to lose their power eventually. Most of them still live in an echo chamber, Alex. They think if they get a couple of hundred retweets making a smug joke about super male vitality and guffawing with it about it amongst their friends on Twitter, that means they're winning. Meanwhile, I'm getting 1.5 million views on YouTube for a video about Trump's Muslim ban. Some of the ones that go on Facebook get 17 million, and that's why they're shutting us down, because we're winning the argument. They can't compete on a level playing field. They always turn to censorship. But censorship,
and they prove they're the establishment.
Is not popular.
And they prove they're the establishment by banning us. And still they've got big parts of the government on their side. Let's come back then and talk about what you see happening in the future and how our listeners and activists out there are part of the human resistance to this globalist system, how we win. And we've got our big guest coming in studio. Stay with us. Sorry, working on developing news stories here. Paul, I've been running over you. I appreciate you coming on. We just got to get you to your own show every day for an hour. That's the answer. I feel it. Because everybody wants you. They need you, Paul. We do it right here on this platform, Infowars.com/show, so they can't censor it as easily. What else do we do? Where is this going? It shows we're winning. We really are. With the communist Chinese in the news saying, we'll help the liberals block America. I mean, this has become comical if it wasn't so serious.
Well, it's important to stress that we are winning. We're winning the argument. That's why they have to resort to this censorship. If we were losing, they wouldn't have to do this. I think we win with comedy. Comedy completely disarms them. You were talking about it earlier, just laughing at the complete total embarrassment that this Rachel Maddow thing was. And by the way, I've got a video coming up about that in a couple of hours. So you use comedy. You use what they call in the meme world weaponized autism, which is basically just being completely obsessed. Because if you look at mainstream journalists, Alex, you know, they sit back in their smug ivory towers, they write one article a week, and they think that they're super important and that they're having a massive impact. They're not having a massive impact. They're being completely overwhelmed. Why do you think BBC and New York Times keep putting out ads begging to hire people who can write quite, quote, quick articles to respond quickly to developing news events? Because they don't have anyone who can do that.
They have the losers. They have the control freaks.
They're really lazy, Alex. They've got no skill. None of them can edit videos. Most of them can't even talk into a camera. They write one article a week, sit back, virtue signal on Twitter, and think that that's going to win them the debate, that that's going to win the culture war. It's not. They're getting their butts kicked, and now they're finally starting to panic about it.
So they are the very definition of posers, of fakes, of fops, and they're trying to destroy the real thing, the vitality. That's why the left tries to destroy success and vitality, because they're losers and they hate success.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Daily Beast, they're like the big major writers on dailybeast.com. They write one article a week. Usually it's like about a tweet that I send. Like there was some ridiculous tweet war with Richard Spencer. It was just a bit of fun the other day. They wrote a whole article about it. And that's what they'll do for an entire week. They can't edit videos. They don't know about memes. They don't know about anything. You know, I could put out one meme on your Facebook page and it would reach more people than their entire output in a week or 2 weeks. That's how pathetic they are.
Yes, Paul, lead us, please. Please do a show every day. Please. Paul, that's what I'm telling you. Now, just admit, I made you get on air, didn't I? I made you, now look how good. See, admit that Emperor Palpatine has done well.
No, I mean, we're completely crushing them, Alex. They're lazy, they're talentless, they're hacks. They just tweet amongst themselves in an echo chamber and think they're smart.
Yeah, they're stuck in junior high where you just run around and act cool to your friends when there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And when I was a junior high, I was hanging out with, like, you know, old crazy guys driving around the lake catching alligator gar and drinking whiskey in junior high. That's what I was doing. And then meanwhile, they were back in junior high acting tough and stuff. I just don't get these people. They're total fake insane asylum nutballs.
And the fact is that their heart is not in it, Alex. They're not really that interested in this kind of stuff because you can tell they're not obsessed by it. They're not pumping out content continuously. They're sitting back being lazy.
Good.
They're so lazy. You can just laugh at them. It's
Do
hilarious.
what must be done, Lord Watson. Show no mercy. Give me an Emperor Palpatine imitation.
I'll leave that to you, Alex.
No, you do it better than I do. This will be a day long remembered. Whatever you want. You have done well, Lord Vader.
Well done, Lord Vader.
I love it. We're winning. We'll be back.